If you're a business owner, or a doctor, or a lawyer, or a finance, or an IT professional, and you want to find the right woman for a long-term relationship, but you've struggled with it, this video is for you. Today we're going to talk about the steps that you'll have to execute to find a high-quality relationship. First of all, you have to understand that you're somebody who already has a lot to offer. And I'm not just talking financially, I'm not just talking lifestyle or resources, but in terms of who you are and who you've shaped yourself to be and the obstacles you had to overcome to be that man. Chances are you're somebody who's very reliant, very loyal, very congruent, very hardworking. Probably you're kind, probably you're intelligent. These are probably you're very willing to invest in the relationship with effort. These are amazing things, but you're not even aware of the value that you can contribute to the relationship. So the first thing you have to do is ground yourself in that understanding. Become aware of all the things you have to offer. Understand that 9 out of 10 men she'll meet aren't at your level. And you might immediately become aware of your insufficiencies as I'm saying that. And that's good and that's fine, because being critical and self-analytical helps in certain areas. But being overly self-critical diminishes your levels of confidence, and in dating, an almost semi-delusional degree of confidence is required if you want to achieve great results, especially in the initial attraction phase. So, what you have to do, there are choppers right now, because today is the European Championship final here in Dublin, and I think the match is about to start it has started 2 minutes ago. Germany against who? We don't even know, because we don't even care. Because we actually have passions. I was ranting, I'm going to get back to this in a second, I was ranting to my cameraman Matthias a couple of minutes ago. Men, and I hope I don't offend you right now, but men who got nothing else going on in their lives, who got like an average job, have no passion for their own life whatsoever, but have a tremendous amount of passion for 11 men kicking a ball, and they cry when they lose, and they celebrate when they win. I walked through Temple Bar, and only last night I realized that Germany was even playing. I wasn't even aware of it until I saw 7 Germans shouting in German, European Championship Master, blah, whatever, right? If these had a similar degree of passion for their own lives, they would be way further ahead. Now, pivoting it back to you, you probably already have that. You've probably already invested in yourself for sustained amounts of time. But if your inner dialogue isn't one of self-encouragement, none of that is worth anything. And that's one of the most important things that I help my clients with. My clients, they are business owners, they work in IT, doctors, lawyers, finance professionals. They're doing really well in a lot of areas, but they're very self-critical, they overthink, they get stuck in their head, so that when they see a lady that they would like to go and speak to, they talk themselves out of it. They may be getting some dates, but they're not getting the quality of dates with women they really want to have, or the right women lose interest in them. That's probably the challenge you have as well. So you have to ground yourself in an understanding of what you have to offer. Write a list of 20 reasons why it would be the greatest gift on earth for her to be able to walk this journey of life together with you. It can be little things. Your sense of humor, your lack of political correctness, your particular values, whatever. Maybe you're pretty good at making love. Maybe you're really good at making spaghetti carbonara gluten and dairy free. Who knows? Whatever it is that you bring to the table, write it down. Not 15 reasons, not 14, exactly 20. That's one of the first steps. Then you have to get more high quality options. If I were to ask you right now, how many first dates have you had in the last 6 months? 1 date every 2 weeks or something. That's nothing. Or even less. You need quality. And then I were to ask you, how many of these women did you lose interest in, and how many of them lost interest in you? 50-50, 80-20, 90-10. Fact is, there are some women who are losing interest in you because you're f***ing it up with your communication. Probably the ones you actually like. And then the ones where you kind of don't like, yeah, it tends to go better. Interesting, right? Mindset problems. So you need to get more quality options. Quality, physical attractiveness, intelligence, personality and values. That's how we define quality. And we're not talking about the worth of a human being, but quality in terms of compatibility with who you are as a man. And then you need to screen. But before we get to the screening part, how can you get more options? There's 3 scalable channels. Approaches in person, during the day or at night, Instagram messages, or dating apps. 60–70% of my clients, maybe even 80, I'm not sure, find their girlfriend or wife through dating apps. And that's amazing. They're extremely efficient because if you use them well, and there's a lot of different ones depending on where you're at, depending on what your target audience is, they're amazing. It's just most men suck at presenting themselves because you have never learned how to present yourself in a dating context. Have you ever been on the dating profile of a lady and she looks great in 5 out of 6 pictures, but on the sixth one, pardon me, my German accent coming through, you see something that you don't necessarily like and you swipe left immediately? She does that with you as well. Women disqualify you so unbelievably quickly. Pardon me, Jesus Christ, can't talk today. And so you need to learn to stand out. You can't have any obvious flaws in your profile because they will always judge you by the worst picture, not by the best. So even if you have 5 great ones and the 6th one creates friction, boom, more women are going to swipe left on you. The algorithm detects that behavior. It's going to reduce your standing and your profile is being shown to less people. So less women are going to swipe right on you and your profile is shown to the lower quality profiles in the eyes of the algorithm. So the right pictures, you gotta hit the right psychological triggers, the right bio to attract the right target audience. How are you using prompts? Do you have social proof in there? Do you have status, lifestyle, trust building elements? This really matters. Then you need to build one amazing profile, split test it on the other apps as well. Use premium function. Obviously, you can do long distance with several women at the same time, never exclusively, because it will always lead to pain, as well as locally, but ideally, obviously, locally first. Dating apps are a hack. You can literally pull out your phone, touch it, and a woman appears who wants to get to know you out of nothingness. Isn't that magic? Isn't it magic that I can go here and meet somebody within a couple of days? It is crazy. Now, where most men then mess up when they actually get the quality matches is with texting. 99% of men, 95, 90, I would say 99% of men suck at texting. They are absolutely horrible. You too. Most likely, statistically, you suck at texting. And you may be a good communicator in your professional environment. You may be a good communicator even in emails. Verbal as well as non-verbal. But when it comes to texting, that is such a unique context. I guarantee you, you suck. Have you ever received a text from a lady, a male friend of yours, a family member? You look at it and you go, eh? And it rubs you the wrong way a little bit? Yes, because there are certain phrases. Hey, buddy. Hello. Hi. There are certain phrases that require, very happy dog, that require non-verbals to be understood. It's extremely important that you understand that there are certain things you can say in a social context that will most likely be misunderstood if they are not accompanied with body language. And on top of that, your communication is probably just screwed, okay? So you need to improve your texting because there's mistakes you're making throughout this whole dating process, as well as with texts that you're not even aware of. Okay, so we're gonna create options. Imagine like a funnel. Dating apps first. Then you need to learn text. Same on Instagram. You can start sending a direct message on Instagram. You can start approaching during the day and the night. You gotta do that. Getting more options. Then you need to disqualify ruthlessly. Most men entertain the wrong women for far too long. Most men have friendships to other guys who don't really want to see them win, who aren't loyal, who aren't blindly on their side, or they're like average relationships. Same with women. Because you don't disqualify the wrong ones quickly enough. It's super important that you get a lot of options, not to be a boy, not to all of them. It's not about that. So you have choice. It is extremely unlikely that you're going to stumble into a high quality relationship if you don't have a ton of choice. Because if you don't have a lot of choice, then you will always come from scarcity and you will settle for somebody with whom you have a lesser degree of compatibility. And make no mistake about this, the #1 criteria for success in a relationship is selection. To choose the right person who has the same values, same goals, same outlook on life, a compatible personality, you need to have options to choose her from. Okay, now you want to disqualify. There's a lot of ways to do that. One of the best ways to do that is to remove the filters from your communication. It's to become way more unapologetic and unashamedly in your communication. In your professional environment, you have been trained to have a lot of filters. You have learned to be very effective in your communication, which largely means to be filtered around your employees, your business partners, your managers, your team, your superiors. Important, obviously. You don't want to share your most politically incorrect opinions at work. That's not the place for that. But in your in your personal environment, in your dating life, you absolutely do that. Because if I talk about the fact, some controversial opinion of mine, then what's going to happen is it's going to divide the oceans. You're going to be like Moses parting the Red Sea. I don't want to go into it here. You can get some ideas. Hypothetically speaking, I'm not saying that I am. But if I were to say that feminism is a bit of a stupid idea, if I were to put that out there, that might offend you, or you might agree with that. Either way, it's going to create emotions. The woman that's going to be your life partner has to have almost all of the same values as you. You cannot debate them. If you're religious, she has to have, not only does she have to be religious, she should be from the same religion. If you're not religious, she can't be religious. These things have to be the same. If you have political opinions, you better agree on those. If you don't care, if you're moderate, cool, same. Wherever you are, she has to be in the same spot. Otherwise, it'll cause an unfathomable amount of problems, especially when it comes to raising children. How are you going to raise your children? What is the value system you want to imprint on your children? It's going to cause issues. So, to be able to disqualify so ruthlessly, you need these options. And then just share what's truly on your mind. You have created a bad habit, which is called filtering yourself. You oftentimes have the right thoughts, but you just don't say them. You're like, couldn't possibly say this now, couldn't possibly say that, couldn't possibly tell her that her shoes look funny, or that what she just said was a little bit silly, in a kind way, but teasy, warm, and loving. You get the idea. Couldn't possibly say X, Y, Z. Yeah, you can. You would be surprised what you can say. Don't hurt people's feelings. At least don't make that your intent. Be kind. Absolutely. Be intelligent with your communication. But say what's on your mind. Because if you constantly have to hold back and you can't express yourself, you will feel like a lion in a cage 3 to 4 years into the relationship. I was married to a woman where I felt like I couldn't share what was truly on my mind because our values weren't aligned. Not because she was a bad person, but our values weren't aligned. So she would get offended if I talked about certain things. And then she would withhold affection. And then it was a lack of connection. And then I suffered. And I was psychologically dependent on her. And then I had anxiety because I was afraid of losing her. Oh, I'll never find someone like her. And I truly suffered. It was a very difficult time. Very difficult. Luckily, while I was working for a big tech company at the time in Dublin, I met my mentor, who then started showing me things. And then I started learning, and then I started going out, and I did thousands of approaches, and then I studied. I learned from one of the best psychologists in Germany. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, not pretending to be, but I was fortunate enough to learn from him. Learned from a lot of people in the personal development space. My mentor, I went out, got a ridiculous amount of experience, tested, tried, tested, tried, tested, tried. Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. Tested a ton of things. Because most dating advice out there is complete and utter nonsense. The mainstream tells you, just be yourself. Okay, great. What does that even mean? Just wait, just be confident. That's the same thing as saying just be rich. Yeah, but how? But then on the other hand, you have pickup artist nonsense where they're trying to teach you to 1,000 women. And I'm not talking bad about any particular individual, I just want to talk about the idea. Manipulation, lying, deception, not my thing. Yes, there are dynamics of attraction that aren't politically correct that you have to understand. You have to position yourself extremely intelligent in your communication to attract the right target audience, which is what you're not doing. So the truth is obviously a lot more nuanced than you might have initially anticipated. So I had to learn all of that. I wish most men understood this one principle. If you even just understood this one principle, that would already help you so much to just remove more filters. Not all, but a lot more filters from your communication. You want to be honest. And let me tell you something. You would rather be somebody who's a little bit rough around the edges, but she knows she can count on you. What women hate is a guy who's fake. Yeah, they want you to be kind and nice and generous, But she doesn't want you to be fake, overly agreeable. It's much better for people to know that they can really count on you. You might be a little difficult at times because you're a man and you have opinions and you're not afraid to state them, but they can rely on you. You're not going to screw them over, you're congruent. And you are already that type of person. You're just not communicating with women like that. Chances are in your business, you're probably communicating a lot more radically honestly, like this, than with women. Maybe you aren't even doing it in your business as much, in your career. Maybe you should be more like that. If you're a business owner, you should definitely do that more. To be able to provide a vision, to communicate a vision, a plan. Because if you communicate a vision and clear rules, in a nice and warm environment obviously, but the more you provide structure, the more people have security. Women need that as well. And if you're an employee in a tech company, for example, it's the exact same thing. Obviously you have to be intelligent with the communication, never outshine the master. Read the book 48 Laws of Power, very, very important. But trust me, the best if you're gonna stay in any place, then you have to have an authentic relationship with your manager. When I worked for a tech company, I worked for different tech companies, and some of the managers I had, and one or two were absolutely amazing. Absolute, I had so much respect for them. Because what can sometimes happen in some of these tech companies, it's a lot of corporate. It's a lot of corporate. You got that corporate if you want to climb the ladder. To an extent, I understand it. But let me tell you something. Your direct superior, your direct manager, you have to have a very honest relationship with him. Now again, there are nuances. If you're just going to be there for another year and a half, you want to take the next step, so you're just going to take it. I get it. But if you're going to stay at a place for a long time, you have to have honest communication with your manager. Expectations have to be very clearly aligned, because this is where people burn out. When you give them a responsibility without authority. And that's why most of the people who burn out are not top executive levels. It is mid-level management. They're the ones who actually struggle the most, because they are being given directions and expectations by C-suite or executive level management, and then they're in between them and their team, and they're trying really hard, at least the ones who are invested, to protect their team. They're having expectations, and they have responsibilities placed on them to hit certain KPIs, to fulfill certain tasks, but oftentimes they're not even given the right responsibility or clear direction. How am I supposed to do that? You didn't even help me with it. There's a lack of clarity. And then they burn out, and then it gets heavy. So even there, striving to have a more honest and eye-level communication is going to help you. It is an absolute prerequisite for longevity in any relationship to be able to say what's on your mind. If you have something here and it bugs you, you better learn to say it. So, we got working on your confidence, which largely comes through competence, by the way. One of the most important things I help my clients with: apply for a free initial consultation call. You should absolutely do that. Click the link underneath this video, fill it in. Trust me, it will change your life. It will change your life. Confidence, mindset. 80% of success in anything is mindset. 20% is mechanics. Then you need to create options for yourself, dating apps, Instagram, approaches, disqualify ruthlessly, change your communication in terms of like removing filters, and then we're on the date. And then you need to learn to create attraction and connection. If you do these things, the probability you're going to end up in a high quality relationship is extremely high. I would love to help you with this. This year alone, I've worked with over, 40 business owners, professionals in very, very similar paths that I've mentioned before: finance, IT, what have you. Men who are very intelligent, ambitious, successful, but also warm and kind. We're looking for people who are really warm individuals. The clients that I help with on a one-on-one basis, in a group coaching program, depending on whatever your financial abilities are, they're really kind people. They're ambitious, successful, and intelligent, but they're also very, very kind and warm. No, absolutely. My team, they do a fantastic job at weeding those people out. Because I'm not one of those guys who's for men against women. You're going to be bestowed superpowers to create attraction and connection in this coaching program that most people wish they had. I want you to use the force for good, to be able to treat that woman really, really, really well. So, if that sounds great, click the link below. Let me help you. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.